Yes, y'all are in the lab. Lee here, man. Y'all saw that title too as well. We're talking about 8 new Mandela effects to blow your mind, make you question this reality we live in. That is right, 8 new more Mandela effects just to make you just go crazy and question everything you know in this reality. But before we get this going, y'all remember that some of these Mandela effects might not be new to you. They will be new to somebody else. Please remember that. As well, at any time you like this, man, y'all remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave me your comments down below so we can talk about these Mandela effects and others too as well. So without further ado, let's get this roll going. Let's get this thing moving. And let's start with number 8 for the day. And it is the N-word. Yes, that is right. You heard me right. The N-word. I would say the word because I actually have the right to say the word, but I am not going to say the word because it's just derogatory. It just, to me, I don't never like that word at all. And you know what word I'm talking about, the forbidden N-word that you hear society speak of now these days. Probably it got canceled. A whole bunch of people canceled this stuff. But the Mandela effect for the N-word is actually the definition and the meaning of the N-word. Now, in my reality, always, in many realities, it is always that the N-word meant that you were an ignorant person, right? An ignorant person. Definition of an ignorant person, right, was the N-word. Well, what if I told you that that's never was the definition of the N-word? I know. I had to look it up my damn self. Here you go right there. There is no indication of the definition of the N-word being ignorant. It's basically, it says it's a slur term for African-American black people or Latino people too as well. And it just says it's a derogatory word meant to set people, to set them off, a slang, discriminatory. It describes basically colored people. Never in that freaking whole dictionary, that whole description of what the N-word is, never says ignorant. But how do you remember the N-word in this world, and how do you remember it being defined? Do you always remember it being defined like I do and many others do, identifying an ignorant person, basically a stupid, nervous, just closed-minded person? Or do you remember it the way it always has been apparently in the definition, basically a slur for black people, indication of poor wealth and stuff like that to indicate colored people? Let me know.
I can confirm that the rumors are true. Mike and Ike have split up.
We're not sure.
That is right. And actually, we are sticking on the N theme for a moment there. And with Mike and Ike's, this is the way it goes for number 7 today. Mike and Ike's. How do you remember Mike and Ike's? How do you remember it always being spelt the way you see it right here? Mike and, like A-N-D, Ike's? Or do you remember it like I do and many other people in this world remember it being spelt Mike N. Ike's? Huh? Does anybody? How do you remember? How do you remember that? Well, if you said it's always had and, it's always been spelled and, well, you're correct. It always has been and always has been spelled that way. Never has there been an N in there, like N and Ike's? It never has been. But like myself, you heard me say, and many others in this world always remember Mike and Ike's having that N in the middle. Basically saying Mike and Ike's. But it blows my mind. How do you remember Mike and Ike's itself? That wonderful, great candy that's got so many different replicas of it now. How do you remember it? Do you always remember it being Mike and Ike's? Or do you remember it like I do, being Mike and?
You know the Simpsons, right? Yeah. Oh, you know this guy, right? Who the fuck is that guy, bro? This guy.
This one just cores me. I don't understand this one. I don't understand where I was at in time and reality of this, because I remember the Simpsons when they first started on the Tracy Ullman show. I remember the first episode that ever aired by itself, Babysitter Bandit, and it just was a staple on all the way through. And this Mandela effect has to do with the character that is either there or missing. This Mandela effect blows me away because in this reality, there was a family member named Grandpa, as you see right here. Yep, you see it. You've been seeing this thing go through. You've been seeing Grandpa's little face. And in my reality, and many others, he was never part of the family. He never part of the Simpsons, never showed an air of episodes. But there is evidence of him being in the Simpsons, being part of the family, being around. And it blows me away because I'm not the only one that doesn't remember this character, never saw this character in my entire life. I'm not the only one that thinks that this character for some reason just got thrown in there like one of the freaking Village people got thrown into theirs. It just looks totally off But how do you remember The Simpsons and this character? Do you always remember this character, Rebel, being in The Simpsons? Or are you like me and many others are just losing our mind and saying, where the hell did this character get cut and pasted into The Simpsons?
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
That is right. Another Star Wars Mandela effect, and this one has to do with Darth Vader himself. Yes, Darth Vader. We already know that the famous line in this whole movie has been changed from Luke, I am your father, to no, I'm your father. But this has to do with basically his get-up. The way he looks. Darth Vader looks himself when he's all suited up. Look at him. Look at him. Does anything look off, new, weird to you? Does anything look like they just put the bat belt on him with all these gadgets on it? If you're saying, yeah, it looks so weirdly, you're completely right. You are completely right. I did see this one on Moneybags a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it still blows my mind to this day because I still think this one is still changing on Darth Vader, having all those bells and whistles around his belt. Even his chest piece looks even off to me. It destroys me because I feel like now Star Wars is starting to turn into the Wizard of Oz. You know how the Wizard of Oz has completely changed from this Mandela effect. I believe Star Wars is starting to get that same full effect as Wizard of Oz is getting. But it blows me away. But how do you remember Darth Vader and that full getup? Because in my mind, he never had all those bells and whistles around his belt. His chest looks so different and it just destroys me. But how do you remember that? Do you remember it like I just kind of said, oh, not with all those bells and whistles, the belt had a couple things on it, but that was about it? Or do you remember Darth Vader being the way and looking the way he does now? Like a goddamn Power Ranger, a superhero or something.
Stay with us. Swipe for no swiping. Swipe for no swiping. Swipe for no swiping.
That is right. We are talking about Dora the Explorer, and I got a double Mandela effect for the midway of this. And we are talking about, first off, Dora. Dora herself and basically her shirt. As you see Dora right here, look at her. Does something look off on her shirt? Does something look weird? Does something not there to you on her shirt? Now, if you're saying yes, well, you're just like I am and many others, because a lot of us remember Dora having a star on her shirt, a yellow star on her shirt. That's how I remember Dora having. That shirt wasn't just full pink or purple, give or take your television resolution, but she always had a star on her shirt, and it looks odd to me that there's no star. There's not even a star around it. I've looked through it all. Can't even find a star on her shirt. But many of us, many people remember Dora having a star on her shirt. Now, the next one has to do with a great cold treat on a hot summer's day. And I'm talking about popsicles. I'm talking about the great popsicle, Boots itself. And as you see this picture right here, do you remember the Boots popsicle? Yep. You know, you ran to the ice cream truck when you heard them, got up there, and you were looking to say, man, which character am I going to get, right? And you remember the characters, right? Now, if you're saying, yeah, there was a Boots popsicle, well, again, you're right, but not in this reality. Because in this reality, like just like my reality, I remember Boots, but there has never been a Boots popsicle ever in this whole day and age, in this entirety. There has never been a Boots popsicle. But there are so many people that remember there being a Boots popsicle. And it blows my mind because they always do these characters. They do almost every star character and possibly a star character when they do these little popsicles treats. And, you know, I remember the gum eyes and the purple. And like you see, it was a banana flavored freaking Boots popsicle. But how do you remember these Mandela effects? How do you remember Dora's shirt? Do you always remember the shirt being plain the way it is now? Or do you remember it with a star on it? And do you remember the Boots popsicle? Or are you like this in this reality and never seen that Boots popsicle at all?
Gary, she's changing the words. And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the
Yes, I
ground.
cannot not talk about this with Thanksgiving being right around the corner. And I'm talking about the day or the Thursday that it falls on. Now, does it fall on the third Thursday of the month? Or does it fall on the fourth Thursday of the month? Now, before y'all come yelling at me, Lee, come on now, Lee, you know this when it falls on the fourth Thursday of the month. It's a month away from Christmas. I know. You're right. In this reality, this day and age, this time and size, it has fall on the fourth Thursday of the month. Correct. I agree with you. But I disagree too as well, because not just myself, many of us remember Thanksgiving falling on the third Thursday of the month. That is correct. Third Thursday of the month. Yes, that is right. It was actually sent of, Roosevelt actually put it in third Thursday of the month and stuff like that. And then it changed in 1931, 32 to the fourth Thursday of the month. It's so weird because I do remember it being on the third Thursday of my month. Just growing up, that was just a staple. You knew it was because you kind of had that little half that week off and go back to school, and it's only like a week or two of school, and then you're back off and stuff like that. But I always remember it being on the third Thursday of the month, just like I do remember it being on the way it is now, being on the fourth Thursday of the month. But how do you remember Thanksgiving? You always remember it being on the third Thursday of the month, or do you always remember it the way it has always been on the fourth Thursday of the month?
She came from a story and became so much more.
Oh yes, everybody knows this staple of coffee company. Everybody knows the logo, and everybody knows what I'm about to say. Yes, Starbucks, and their logo. Take a look at this logo right here for me. Please, take a look at. Does that look right to you? Is that the right logo of this day and age? If you're saying, please, that's the damn Starbucks logo. Well, you're wrong. It's not the Starbucks logo. It never has been that kind of Starbucks logo. It never probably will be that Starbucks logo. The Starbucks logo is this Starbucks logo. That is right. You see the lines on her arms going up. You see that? That is the correct, and always has been the correct Starbucks logo of the time. It blows me away because I do remember the logo not having those stripes on her arms going up like that. I also remember the logo not having that star on the top of her head too as well. It blows me away because Starbucks, one of those kind of controversial, where they do their mascot and stuff from, blows me away because it's hit by the Mandela effect. But how do you remember this wonderful God coffee, ice cream, dough scones store, good old Starbucks itself and its logo? Do you always remember the logo having the stripes the way it is now on her arms with that star? Or do you remember the logo the way you see it right here with no stripes? Let me know. Here I am, boom, boom, doom, 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 rock me like a hurricane. Here I am with the number one Mandela Effect, and we're talking about Scorpion, and we are talking about this song, this track, Rock Me Like a Hurricane. That is right, Rock Me Like a Hurricane. Well, is it Rock Me Like a Hurricane? Listen.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Yes, rock you like a hurricane. Mandela Effect for me, possibly many others, because I was riding home listening to this the other day. I was singing this song and I was singing Rock Me Like a Hurricane because I was thinking he was singing to the girl to tell her to come rock him because he's here now, right? I was like, here I am. So come and rock me like a hurricane. But it has always been rock you like a hurricane. That is right. Rock you like a hurricane. Always has been, always will be rock you like a hurricane. But that is not how I remember it. I remember playing rock band with the kids and singing rock me like a hurricane. And it just blows me away because I totally got this one wrong once again. And I was thinking maybe it's one of those hear what you hear things, do what you think things, but it's not. It is rock you like a hurricane. And I am just confused. I don't know if maybe this is my own Mandela Effect. So I went into Google and saw a couple shirts saying rock me like a hurricane, something else saying rock me like a hurricane. And it convinced me that it was somewhere in a reality that rock me like a hurricane and not rock you like a hurricane. But how do you remember this? Do you always remember this wonderful song, Rock You Like a Hurricane, being called Rock You Like a Hurricane? Or are you like me and possibly others, and many others, there's got to be some out there because the memes, rock me like a hurricane. I hope I rocked your mind with those 8 Mandela effects just to make you question everything that's going on in this reality in this day and age. It does blow my mind that this Mandela effect phenomenon is just wild. It's cool, it's crazy, it's eerie, it's creepy. It is all those emotions and thoughts you can think of all balled into one, but it is real indeed. Like I said before, if you like this at any time, please remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave me those comments down below about these 8 Mandela Effects that we watched today. What do you think? And maybe some more that you would love to talk about later on this channel. Without further ado, I always thank you for showing up. Show you the love, showing the love back. I love y'all to death, and y'all remember to keep your mind open because those eyes will see everything in front of you. Y'all stay crazy.
Hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.